mighty fine to see y'all again. Much appreciate you stopping back by here at the Old Guy Does AI. Yep, I'm the old guy, that'd be me. Oh, what did you old guys and gals think about that episode number 1 where we were talking about large language models, LLMs? We figured out what them suckers eat. They consume information, all the information out there is. That's what they eat. Once we learned that, we figured out that them suckers, well, they go to inspecting and detecting and reflecting, and before you know it, brother, they start learning the very secrets of language itself. And this week, we're going to be going on down the trail a bit to episode number 2. In this episode right here, we're going to be moseying on over to Claude AI. We're going to get mighty well acquainted with Mr. Claude. He's the fellow we decided we was going to partner up with in the last episode. Yep, that's what the old guy decided for him. You can decide whatever you want to. If you want to come along on this here trail, well, you're mighty welcome. We hope you do. We'll be learning everything we can learn about this Claude AI and what he might be able to do to help us stay relevant in the lives of our kids and our grandkids. Might be able to help us in our day-to-day living as well. You never know what you might learn. If you want to be learning here at the Old Guy Does AI along with this old guy, well, that'll be the one that we'll be working with, at least for the time being. Ain't saying I won't go back and look at them others, like the Grokosaurus, or, you know, Gemini, or one of them other fellas, ChatGPT, or Llama. So, at least for the time being, we're going to be working with Mr. Claude, and that's what we're about today. He's going to head on over there. We're going to get you set up and... What in tarnation? That gummit right in the middle of an episode and they go and interrupting me. That gum telephone ringing. Folks, I hope y'all excuse me a minute. I'll be right back. Y'all take care. Just hold what you're thinking. You can review on the LLMs while I'm gone. I'll be back 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. See you in a minute. That gummit right in the middle of a goddamn episode. What in the world? I'm a-coming. Hold your horses. Yeah, calling me. What in the world? This so? Ira, is that you? Ira, quit your yelling, man. Make some dadgum sense. Sit down, take a breath. What? She said what? Say that one more time. She said that? Sound pretty serious, Ira. Well, I've been telling you, brother, you ain't no young feller no more. That ticker of yours, it ain't in good shape. You gotta take care of that thing. And what? Ira, I want you to listen up to me right now. You hear me? You listening? You can't go calling no highfalutin big city educated doctor Little Missy. Ira, she's gonna be offended every time, man. She's gonna be mad as an oak. Miss Imogene, is that you? Ira, that is the mother of your children you're speaking to. You behave yourself. Folks, we're gonna have to cut her short today. I gotta get over there right now and make sure they don't kill one another. Cooler, ventricooler. Response. EKG. What in the Sam hell is that word? I ain't never seen nothing like that. In all capital letters. Yeah, Miss Imogene's and Ira's last night. Had a good long visit. Nobody got killed last night. That's a good thing. Anyhow, this here paperwork come from Ira's doctor's office. It's what they sent home with him. Hmm. He gave it to me after we talked, and neither one of us could make heads nor tails of all these 50-cent words they got going on in here. Don't know what Ira and Imogene are gonna do. Oh, Ira, he's a good old boy. He ain't too sharp, but been knowing old Ira for most of my life. Erectile, erectile. Dysfunction. Diabetes mellitus. Mercy sakes, what are we gonna do? Mercy, where do they come up with these here words? 50-cent words at least, maybe 75-cent words. I wonder, you reckon old Claude, he can make heads or tails out of this business? At least that's something we can try. Better than doing nothing, I reckon. Hey, you old guys and gals. Well, when I was over to Ira's and Imogene's, we sat and had us a good little visit. Oh, Ira, he's worried about that there doctor summary report that he gave me. He said he wondered if I'd be willing to give him a hand, see if we could figure something out about that dude. Miss Imogene, why, she's just beside herself about this business with Ira's health. So we're going to see what we can do with old Claude. Maybe we can do a thing or two that'll give him some insight about what's going on with old Ira's health. Here we go. Well, hey there, old guys and gals. Yep, here we are at the Claude prompt. It's what I've been telling you about all this time. Say, old Miss Imogene, she was able to email me over Ira's doctor's report, and I've got it here. What I'm going to do is just drag it over there and drop it right in Claude's prompt, just like that. And then we're going to talk to Claude. Yes, we are. Claude, my friend Ira just got this here doctor's report, and we're hoping you can explain it to us in plain, simple language. Can you do that for us? And a question mark. Hit this little arrow here. Let's see what old Claude tells us. Well, looky there. He says, sure thing. Let me break this down. What they found, doctor did a heart tracing test called an EKG, found that old Ira's heart's doing something called atrial fibrillation. AFib for short. Yep, it's like his top chambers are getting out of rhythm and beating in a disorganized, quivery way instead of a nice steady beat. Well, I'll be dadgum, that's pretty plain and simple. Would you looky there, there's his medicines he's going to be taking. Oh, that reminds me, Miss Imogene, she's always keeping up with old Ira's medications. She was asking about this one here. We need to ask Claude about that one. Let's see here. Why is the doctor asking Ira to take this here new medicine called we'll just paste it here, apixaban. Now put a question mark, hit that red arrow, and looky there. Let's see what Claude says. Why, for goodness sakes alive, he's just spelling her right out there in plain language, ain't he? Isn't that something else, folks? Old Claude, he done just what we was needing. He spelled out this complicated stuff in plain, simple language. Well, you old guys and gals, wasn't that something seeing old Claude spit out that plain, simple language, took them 50-cent words, didn't even take a breath. Just spit it right out there on the screen. You seen it? You know, I was thinking, this here Claude AI contraption, I reckon if it could help do that for Ira and Imogene, well, it might be able to help you and me too. Yeah, us old guys and gals, we get plumb covered up with that paperwork all the time. If it ain't the doctor, why, it's the accountant, or it's some other insurance company or then some from an attorney. Them attorneys, they're plumb notorious for the way they write that stuff. They write it, I think, intentional, where an old boy can't even understand what they're talking about. It's a shame. Like I say, I reckon if it could help Ira and Imogene, well, it might help some of you other old guys and gals. And me. The old guy needs all the help he can get, you know what I mean? Well, you old guys and gals, what'd you think about that? Something else, huh? Now, where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. We was gonna go over and get acquainted with Claude. Y'all remember that? All right, let's get to it, shall we? All righty, you old guys and gals. Here's where we're gonna get started getting acquainted with old Claude. First things first, go up here to your address bar in your browser. Tippy tap top in there, CLAUDE.AI. Then tippy tap top that enter key. And looky there, my friend, we're at the Claude homepage. Now, you have yourself a Gmail account. You'd like to use that to sign up for Claude. This here button is the one for you, my friend. If you prefer and you have your own other email address, why, you can just click right there in this empty space and you can type your email address, click on the continue. They'll send you a verification code. You can enter that and they'll set you right up with old Claude. And finally, if you're like the old guy and you prefer to have things downloaded on your own PC, well, this here button down at the bottom is the one for you, brother. You just tap that. It'll download the files you need, and it'll go right through a setup process. I reckon you old guys and gals have been through the process a time or two of installing and getting set up in a piece of software, so I won't go through every last stinking step of it and bore you to tears. So, that'll end up this here segment of the episode. Okay, old guys and gals, I figured before we wrap this here episode up, I'd give you a little something in the prompt to see how old Claude handles it. So I got him a question for him right here. Says here, what kind of old gal do you reckon would take a shine to the old guy? See what Claude has to say about that. He's a thinking. He's a scratching his head. Hey, what's taking you so long, Claude? Ain't no smooth talking. What? Claude, that ain't what I was asking. You dadgum. Well, it's about that time, folks. Ready to wrap up this here episode of The Old Guy Does AI. So, before we go doing that, if you liked the content you saw here today, if you thought it was interesting or informative or entertaining in one way or another, why, we'd sure appreciate it if you'd give us the old big thumbs up down there. We talked about that button, remember? It's a button, you can push it. Come on, give us the old thumbs up, would you? Also, if you're a new fella here and it's your first time at The Old Guy Does AI, why, there's a button down there for you to push too. It's called subscribe. That way you'll be coming back to see us from time to time. And finally, there's a little ringy-dingy bell button you can push, and that way when the old guy gets his grits together and gets another episode out, why, you can be notified, and they'll let you know that the old guy put up some new stuff. Alrighty, you old guys and gals, I reckon that about does it for the old guy in this episode. So, you remember, we got our credo to recite. Remember, you are smart, you're kind, and by gosh almighty, you're important to this old guy. Gosh almighty, whatever you do, don't squat with your spurs on, you hear me? Y'all come back now, you hear this old guy signing off. See you next time.